Let's go. My name's Dan Giesling, and welcome to another Star Citizen opinion video. In this video, we're going to talk about one of the largest and most expensive ships in Star Citizen, the Aegis Destroyer called the Javelin. In the past, we've had a chance to see this ship in flybys and in a little bit of detail. Now we get a brand new update as to what's going on, how the ship's divided, some of the interesting and unique features to the ship, and of course, what the development of this ship means for in relation to the progress of Star Citizen. If you're new to the channel, this is not going to be a technical blueprint overview of everything that the Javelin has to offer, but more so, it's a video highlighting the most exciting, new, and noteworthy things that I have found in this new Javelin video. From a visual standpoint, it's cool to see the progress of how far the Javelin has come. It's got a very chunky, strong appeal to it on the exterior, and also taking a look at the interior, a lot of work has been done. One of my favorite things we get a chance to see is the comparison of the Idris and the Javelin flying side by side through space, and it really gives you the feel that the Javelin is the big brother to the Idris. One of the most notable visual changes to the Javelin comes in the bridge area. In the previous version of the Javelin we had a chance to see, there was a large metal bar that would potentially block the view of the captain that ran across horizontally at the front of the ship. After listening to community feedback, the developers actually changed that to make it more of a seamless glass design that would remove any visual obstruction of the captain leading the ship. That's part of the charm of Star Citizen. It's not out of the realm of possibility to think that your view is going to be obstructed in the cockpit of your ship, in particular if you're driving a potato ship like the Aurora. No offense to your Aurora pilots, but in terms of a UE-class destroyer, you don't expect those type of obstructions of your vision. And it's cool that the developers actually listen to the community in this design feature. From a design standpoint, the Javelin is broken down into three cohesive parts. The bottom level of the Javelin is considered the work area. This is where your engineers are going to be. This is where the cargo is going to be. Anything that you can think of that's kind of grimy or dirty, it's going to be on the bottom level. In the middle level of the Javelin, that's where the habitat is. Think of it like a mess hall. Think of a rec room. Think of the living areas. And then the top level, that's the tactical area. Think of officers. Think of that's where the bridge is. Think of a meeting room, a war room. And I think it makes a whole lot of sense the way everything flows together, and to be able to get a look at the interiors of each of these three zones is really encouraging to see how the function and how the flow of a crew is going to operate an actual Javelin in the verse. With the division of the three levels of the Javelin also comes the integration of some very important blast doors. We've recently learned that in the event that an area of the ship or a level of the ship gets extremely damaged, the blast doors will drop and essentially indicate to the crew, hey, there's a major problem here that needs to be fixed. From a gameplay standpoint, the blast doors bring a lot to the table. Do the blast doors drop just to contain the fire and the damage and the smoke from permeating to the other areas of the ship? Is it going to trap crew members in there that are going to be forced to fix it? I don't know. We don't know exactly how these are going to function, but I think it brings up a unique gameplay element that's going to cause for emergent gameplay, and it's going to make this ship feel like a working ship where there's going to be problems to deal with, and how you deal with them as a captain or a crew member on the Javelin is going to determine your success. And I think personally for me, that's going to be one of the fun experiences of being on the Javelin, is when things don't always go right, how does the chaos get dissipated, and who's running the ship, and how are you going to fix it? I think this is one of the interesting gameplay elements of being on a capital ship, is the actual running of this thing like a well-oiled machine or a business. Outside of being a massive capital ship, there are three smaller features to the Javelin that I'm particularly excited about. First being the turrets. For the first time, we've had a chance to see a new style turret. We've seen fixed turrets in the past that are stationary in one area and can do a full 360-degree view of whatever your targets are. You see that on things like the Freelancer or the Retaliator. But for the first time in Star Citizen, we get a chance to see a turret that's on an actual track, so it can move forward and backward. That may help put the Javelin in a position to be more successful against pesky fighter ships flying around it. But just the fact that it adds another gameplay element to the turret standpoint, you know, you're not fixed in a 360 view, you're 360, but you can also go forward and back. I think that's going to be an exciting interesting role to play on a capital ship like the Javelin. One of the smaller features of the Javelin that I'm excited about is the fact that there's escape pods within. And be like, oh damn, there's escape pods in other ships. But I think it's interesting to look at within the Javelin, because here you have this massive ship that's going to be very difficult to destroy, yet it still has an insurance policy for some personnel on board. I did a little research to find out specifically about the Javelin escape pods, and what I could find was that they're designed to fit 5 people, and once they're ejected from the ship, they're developed in a way that the Argo can come scoop up that 5-man container, that 5-man escape pod, and take those people to safety. I think the real reason why I really like the idea of escape pods is the fact that it allows a different gameplay element. You know, you can potentially smuggle important personnel out of the ship, maybe even some small cargo, but it just adds a gameplay element that is open-ended. You could use them as decoys. You just never know what those can be used for, and anything like that within Star Citizen that gives players freedom to mess around in an organic way is something I'm always going to be excited about. The other feature of the Javelin that I'm excited about is the fact that a small hangar is on board the Javelin, that it will allow you to launch a smaller fighter from the actual capital ship. And I think from a standpoint of gameplay, it just opens the door to a lot of unique situations, whether you need to launch a small fighter to help you against a squadron of gladiuses that your turrets are too slow for, or the fact that you may want to launch a Redeemer gunship to go down planet side and raid a facility. I just think the ability to transport a ship like this makes the Javelin so unique from a gameplay element that it's just going to have a variety of open-ended gameplay experiences. In particular, if you're running with a squadron or an organization like WHP, I just think the opportunities are endless to have a lot of fun in this type of a scenario as a result of the Javelin being able to transport a ship and have that option available at any time. So one of the questions I know that's going to come up in the comments below is, how much does the Javelin cost to buy? In the initial concept release, the Javelin was priced at $2,500 in a limited release. In the most recent sale of the Javelin during the annual ship sale, it came out at $3,000 when it was sold in limited quantities. Now, before everyone freaks out, this is a developmental cost towards Star Citizen. You don't have to buy this ship with real money. It's important to note that every ship in the game, from the Aurora to the Javelin, can be earned with in-game credits. And before people judge and criticize people that have bought the Javelin, think of it as a way to support the game, and it's not something you have to do. But as a result of people buying the Javelin, we have the Javelin and the tech to integrate capital ships into the game. So no judgment here from people that buy the Javelin. I just may be slightly jealous that you have one and I don't. Now look, do I think that it's unique that people spend money on virtual ships that are not yet flyable in a game that's not yet developed? Yes, that's unique. Am I one of those people? Yes, I am. But I think it's important to note that people spend money on their hobbies. Some people go to the bar. Some people collect baseball cards. Some people smoke tobacco and literally light their money on fire. And I think it's important to note that however people choose to spend their money is their right. And one of the problems I have with maybe the ancillary Star Citizen community, not a lot of the fans, is that people criticize people for buying ships like this in the game. However, it's without these people and without the support that we're not going to have an awesome game to play. The Aegis Javelin is a massive UEE destroyer, and I think it's going to be one of the crowning achievements within the Star Citizen universe. We already know it's going to play a large role in Squadron 42, but I think the Javelin is always going to have a presence that when you are on it, when you're flying by it, or if it happens to jump in the same system that you're in, you're always going to know the first time you see a Javelin or how unique or special it is that one is in the area that you're in. These are the type of things and the gameplay elements that are going to spawn from capital ships like the Javelin that have me so excited for Star Citizen. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy it, clicking the like button does help out a great deal. And if you want to see more Star Citizen content on a daily basis, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. I'm interested to hear from you about the single feature from the Javelin that you're most excited about. Let me know what you're most excited about to see from the Javelin in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video.